Hello. Jimmy Kimmel's back. Hello. Welcome to any new subscribers. If you're new here, I'm happy to have your subscription. Stick around for a long time. I want to talk about Jimmy Kimmel in actually two parts. So stay tuned tomorrow. Stay tuned. Tune in tomorrow to my channel where I'm going to talk about the employment piece. But today, I want to just celebrate his return and talk about a little bit about the freedom of speech part of this short-term dismissal. Now, I'm sure you're aware of what occurred on last Wednesday. Well, actually, his show was taken off air on last Thursday, but he returned to Jimmy Kimmel Live last night, Tuesday, to astounding great views, actually like 5 times what he would normally have. So beneath all of that says a lot of different things as to I look at it as a tossed green salad, in that there's the issue of the lettuce, the issue of the tomatoes, the issue of the carrots, the issue of the celery, the onion, all of that, but together makes the salad, because there's the issue of his freedom of speech. There's the issue of an outsider by way of Donald Trump coming in to make a request of his employer for his dismissal. There is the issue of his dismissal, how it's attached to the other writers, because although he's the one that's delivering his monologue, he has a staff of writers, and they meet regularly about presentation and what would be funny. And so he's not alone in this. He is just the mouthpiece of it. So there's all these different underlying issues, but nonetheless, the public had a lot to say about the choice of this parent company of ABC, which is Disney. Now, don't get me started on Disney, because from the employer's perspective, I'm not a fan of Disney, because I have seen on more than occasion, on probably a dozen different occasions, where Disney made the decision. So this is me speaking on my observation as a personnelologist, of a person that's in the field looking at it in what they call the ants in the attic. Now, if you're in HR, you know exactly what that means. The ants are in the attic. That means the problem is in the attic, and it's at the higher, and there's like nothing we can really do to get to it, but we got to take care of the ants in the attic. That's what that is. But in this case with Jimmy Kimmel, the public was outraged, and the public was very vocal about that. And Disney had to pay attention to that, because Disney has too many outstretches. It has the Disneyland, it has the other channels, it has Hulu. It could be affected beyond Jimmy Kimmel, I'll put it that way. But nonetheless, I'm not here to give a history of Disney or their decision makings, which I don't often agree with. I just want to celebrate Jimmy Kimmel's and his return. The first thing I'd like to recognize is that he didn't go away quietly, although we didn't hear him. We didn't hear his rebuttal. He took it to the ants in the attic. And while there, he did so that's the first thing. We didn't hear from him. He wasn't boisterous. He took it to the right people. The second thing is he spoke for himself. Now, oh my God. Oh my goodness. If you've ever watched this channel, I am always advocating for that. Nobody can speak better for you than you, because you carry the issue and you carry the passion. And when you know enough about your field and your trade, you should, to some degree, have developed enough acumen to speak for yourself. So he didn't have his lawyers, he didn't have his PR people, he didn't have his marketing people, he didn't have the boys in the hood, per se. He spoke for himself to those executives, men by whom his contract is signed and he reports to, and he doesn't see every day, because they're bigger than him alone. But he advocated for himself. And then the third thing was, he was able to demonstrate to them and what I call truth by believability. Now, boy, boy, do I know about that. And that too falls into a personal, because Jimmy Kimmel's show and being let go by Disney ultimately is all a personnel issue. These are personnel issues about freedom of speech and so forth. But the fact that he was able to be convincing enough for himself, he restored not only his job, but the people that worked on his show. If that show is canceled, there's other people that work on that show as well. Where are they going to be dispersed out in that? But I would say more importantly than that is the fact that if he didn't do something about it, then nothing would have been done about it moving forward for the next person. So he fought for the people, I would say. He fought for the right to express himself. And as a comedian, as a TV personality, as a person who advocates for humanity and human rights, to lose even an ounce of his freedom of speech can feel like an earthquake to such a person, because their speech is their episode. Their speech is their talent. Their speech is their tool, their trade. That's their livelihood. So when that is restricted in some or any kind of way, it makes it difficult in going forward for them, because now they're like, do I have to walk on eggshells? Or do I have to, do I have to do this and that just to come across authentic and truthful? Now, what I was going to say about he spoke truth to believability, that is a very, very small but powerful, I would call it like a, what do you call those? One of those little potent pills that just has all the power. It's a tiny pill, but it has all the power. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now. But nonetheless, that's what the truth to believability is, because what happens sometimes when there is what I call a pickle of a situation, like you don't know exactly which way that's going to go. You're negotiating if you could win or lose. It's up or down. It's hot or cold. You're in this situation. Things need to get back situated. Things are not in flow. When you're doing that, your truth has to be powerful enough to be believed, because someone else's expectations or desires against your truth can become a cross as believable enough to excite against your truth, and nothing should excite against the truth. So the delivery has to be such that a person believes you. Now that's saying a lot about a little of the background, but let's just look at his. I'm going to pull his ratings, which I was excited to hear. So his live show last night averaged 6.2 million views, okay? 6.2 million views. Now, what's important for us to note is that his average viewership for this entire season is 1.4 million views per episode. So he had 5 times. So let's just talk. Disney likes money. Disney likes dollars. So let's talk dollars that make sense. Just for this one return night, he had nearly 5 times the viewership. Now, why were people tuning in? Most of them wanted to see the initial monologue, which is what he got dismissed for this short period of time. I'll call it a suspension. He got suspended because of his piece in the monologue about the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk. And Donald Trump, or whomever else, wanted to sic the FCC on him. And Disney, in my view, I would say it, folded, and Jimmy was gone. So that's the history. But his comeback, look at that. 6.2 million viewers. And then let's just take a look at the viewership was nearly for the entire segment. Okay, so people stay tuned. This number does not even include the streaming viewership. So the streaming, YouTube and Hulu and all of that, it doesn't even include that. This is just true channelship, I would say. You turn your old TV on, or you got a new TV. You turn your TV on and you're watching it. 6.2 million. Now, would you think Disney is happy with those ratings? Of course. So this attack turned out to be quite attractive for him. And while no one wants to be in the heat of a boiling pot, like a crab trying to get out of a boiling pot, I think he did very well for himself. And this is why it's important for you and I to revel as a rebel. Now, I know I've been asked not to say that, but it's important to me for things that, like this, as an example, things that pick at your righteousness, things that pick at your virtue, things that pick at your values, things that pick at your freedoms and freedom to speech and your livelihood that's tied to that. And the staff is saying, you should revel at being a rebel, and you should celebrate in the righteous win that you had. And so I'm happy for him. And then I would also say this. Let's see if I have it here, guys. Let's see. Let's see. I want to make sure I get it right. So yeah. So another helpful, this is important. Another helpful stat for these ratings is that this 6.2 million viewers, which is 4.5 times bigger than his usual audience, it also did not include about 20% of the ABC affiliates who boycotted it. So that meant all of the affiliates of ABC, 20% of them were not included that would have been included. And he still had 14. Hey, that's Super Bowl numbers. That's where you're proud of your. So no one's proud to be in a heated moment by which your entire future could be lost or impacted such a way that it feels like a loss. But when you come out on top like that, you teach a lesson. You teach a teachable moment, I would say, a lesson of understanding, a lesson of awareness. And that here's the rule number one that I learned in school. You must never give the bully your lunch money. Because all he'll do tomorrow is come back for your lunch money and then your sandwich and then something. The bully never stops. This is why there's so many bully bosses in the workplace. They were never fixed and nobody handled them. And I got over 400 videos now, but I started off talking about bully bosses and their behaviors. They are arrogant, they are narcissistic, they are egomaniacs, and it's very difficult to get to the ants in the attic because they want what they want and you need to take it. So you have to be able to speak truth to power when it comes to them in the way that Jimmy did. And so these are concepts of consciousness. This is concepts of communication. This is an understanding by which we have to stand up into our righteous revelry, our righteous rebelry, and say, this is a fight that I take on my own as David to you, Goliath. And all I need is one good stone. And boy, did we have. And that stone was 6.2 million people in an audience as a result. And I'm happy to report that. So Stay tuned tomorrow. I want to do part 2, in which I want to talk about the employment piece of this. Now, this is about Jimmy standing up for himself and the outcome of that. And then, on more than one occasion, I didn't like. I can call them, but I don't even waste the time. I'm not pleased with Disney overall as to how they seem to fold so easily. They're so, anyway, I won't even go on. If you've gotten this far, please click like, please click subscribe, bring your friend with you next time. Tune in tomorrow. I want to talk about the employment piece. And I love you. Good night. Oh, watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight too. Bye.